I think it'll be good. I think overall it'll be a boost to the MCU. Not reviving it, but it'll be a boost because I feel like it could use a little pick me up right now. And maybe it could do some good. You know, there's the normies that talk about superhero fatigue and comic book fatigue, but then you've got all the Miles Morales Spider-Verse movies that are killing the box office every time they drop. People just need something good to watch. They just need, the normies need something good. They need something like a solid story. They need to see their favorite people doing something dope. And I think Deadpool and Wolverine can actually bring that. I think it'll be dope.
Superhero fatigue is one of those things that, like, it's not real.
Yeah, there's like, a lot of ambiguity to it.
It's there's bad superhero movie. I wouldn't say bad. There's middle of the road superhero movie fatigue, because like I will definitely say most of the movies that everyone like says came out of the MCU that were trash, I like to remind people, don't go back to phase 1.
Yes, that's true.
Phase 1 is full of mediocrity.
Thor 1 was 1.
Thor
Captain
1,
America.
I would even say, I would even lump Iron Man 2 and 3 in that same. So that's why people
I don't like 2 and 3 though.
They don't make MCU movies like they used to. No, they still do.
Yeah, I feel like at the time, maybe, and you know, that's a good point, because maybe people have forgotten, because even when 2 and 3 dropped, like people weren't really going crazy over them anyways.
No,
you know, people weren't going crazy over
the same shit that they were saying today, the same shit that they're saying today about like Shang-Chi, Eternals, and Marvels.
I like Shang-Chi.
And
Shang-Chi was hot.
I like Shang-Chi.
I like Shang-Chi too. However, when people say, man, ain't nothing hidden after Endgame, Shang-Chi is included in that list. Because people like to conveniently forget about it. But the thing is, the same shit people were saying about these movies that are coming out, it's the same shit people were saying about Captain America 1 and Iron Man 2 and Iron Man 3, Thor 1. Hell, I'm trying to think, wait, no one really started talking about the quality, like the overall like quality of MCU movies until Captain America Winter Soldier. Like when Avengers came out, people like actually started to care. But like after Avengers 1 came out, it was like, oh, this is the level of shit we can look forward to. Okay, now we're gonna judge these things as though they're actual movies, not just funny book stories. That was when that kind of like, and people are still chasing that high from Avengers 1. Like there are people that are still out there. And I know they exist. I see them all the time. There's still people out there that are chasing that high from the first time they saw Thanos turn around in Avengers 1. There are people still like, man, it ain't going to be lit unless I see some shit like Thanos turn around. It's like, well, I guess you're going to be disappointed because, man, look, that only worked. That shit with Thanos only worked for 2 reasons. One, nobody knew who the fuck he was unless you like actually read comic books. And for 2, it only worked because nobody saw it coming. But now we know that shit's possible. We know you could fuck around and see a Doctor Doom or a Kang or a Beyonder or an Eternity or God bless you if you want this, but a Master Order, Lord Chaos, or whatever fucking order those accolades come in. All this shit's way more possible now, and like with the 24-hour news cycle, we know what villains are going to be in what movie before the movie even comes out. So like you can't get that again. All you can do is just wow people with spectacle with what you got.
And I think you're right. Like there's no such thing as superhero fatigue or like people not wanting to see it, because I feel like that could be said for anything. Like how many action movies or how many thriller movies or how many horror movies come out on the daily and people don't like it. There's no like horror movie fatigue. It's just that movie sucked, and then this movie was good.
They got a whole streaming service dedicated to that shit.
Yeah, but if we think about it too,
actually,
for anime, right? I think like the top genre of anime is isekai,
and people hate it.
And people hate it, like to the point where
they hate it so much they buy it.
But exactly, bro. Do you understand how many isekais there are in Japan, in America? There's people who write their own like novels about them. like every single like manhwa or like Korean webtoon is like basically an isekai.
Everyone. Isekai is so popular or you know so all encompassing that when Solo Leveling, like the anime version came out, I on principle was not going to watch it because I was like, this just sounds like another isekai. Granted, it's not.
Yes.
But the thing is, if you go on Crunchyroll right now, look up the genre isekai, you're going to find like 40 different anime that all came out within the last 2 years.
Yeah. And the thing is, there's only a handful of them because isekai means travel to another world. And they have isekai or they have reverse isekai where somebody from another world comes like to Earth or something. So the genre is basically like it's like basically you're walking down the street and a milk truck hits you and you wake up in a new world. It's truck could. That's it. Like, like, hey, I'm leaving. I'm leaving school. I drop my bag. I pick it up. I turn around. The truck hits me. I'm dead. I wake up as like a baby in a fantasy world. Like that is the premise of every single isekai, like 99.9% of them. And the thing is, there's so many that people literally hate them. Like the trope has been done so many times, but it is like the number one genre that they keep putting out and people keep buying. It's like, if you don't like it, then why is it so popular? And I feel like it's because you'll get those one-off stories that are so good that it like boosts the isekai again. And then when you're finished with it, you're like, I need another one like that. But it doesn't happen until years later. And then you're just stuck waiting for it.
So you think Deadpool 3 is going to pull the same stunt, like relatively?
I feel like Wolverine and Deadpool it may pull the same stunt where people will like really enjoy it, where they're like, oh, this was good. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like this is great. And then maybe because we have a lot of stuff coming, you know, like Deadpool, Wolverine, and then like you said, Fantastic Four. They were coming out with I think I saw something on one of the comic websites or comic pages on Instagram that they're working on Secret Wars.
Yeah,
okay. Secret Wars. That's been for a while.
Okay, so they're working on Secret Wars. So it's like all of those different things back to back. Like, I feel like if they're putting their attention into it to bring quality, and I feel like just Deadpool and Wolverine may kick that off. You know what I mean? Because I'm not going to sit here and be like, I hate a lot of the stuff that came out. Like, I actually like the Eternals. I
liked it a lot.
I liked it as a one-off. Yeah,
I like Shang-Chi.
I think it would have been a better TV show.
Yeah, I think so, because they could have broke it down in maybe like 6 parts and kind of explain their backstory a little bit more.
Fair.
But like I like that, you know, I like Spider-Man. So
yeah, Shang-Chi has to be some kind of good because they got the same guy that directed it to direct the new Avengers movie. So I mean, he couldn't have sucked that bad.
And isn't I guess what's his name? Who plays Shang-Chi?
Simu Liu.
Say it again.
Simu Liu.
Okay, Simu Liu. I think he posted somewhere that Shang-Chi 2 is still happening.
Yeah, it's definitely happening.
Okay, so then that's still happening. I wasn't a fan of all of the original shows. Like I wasn't a fan of all of them that came out on Disney Plus. But just because I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan doesn't mean it wasn't good. I know a lot of people liked them, a lot of people watched them, but I just think if they focused on the big stories and their big projects and put their effort into those, I feel like it could be, you know, it could be quality.
Be something, sure.
You mean you tell me you didn't like it when like Echo got the star power and no. Unironically, I thought that show was fucking hilarious and like really cool. Like unironically,
isn't even a threat anymore. Is he a threat?
I mean, look, no, you just see what you do. See, you don't understand. See, let me explain to you. See, what you don't understand is Echo had the star power.
That's true. That's true. And she took his hand.
If you go back to look at that scene and play the Mario Brothers like the star power theme over it, it's perfect. It's actually perfect. Like, and I know this because I've tried.
Tried. Well, you've got seen. Say now, this kind of brings it back to the spinoff thing because then you had Echo, which I'm not sure anybody really asked for. They wanted to see Daredevil real quick, but you could have watched.
It actually did well. I think it actually did well. Oddly enough,
I don't know. But then you got like Agatha. I forget the subtitle because it's changed.
Agatha All Along.
Agatha all along. It's not House of Harkness or what was it? She did
Well,
it
no.
too, or
So they changed
there's a
it
couple.
and they kind of made like it was actually supposed to be part of the overarching theme. The problem was that their marketing was too smart for everybody else. Like they kind of overthought it. It basically is why they kept changing the name of it so often.
Agatha all along. I mean, it's just. And see this. I think this kind of lends itself to like some of these projects we don't need just to keep us like brain dead watching Disney Plus consistently. Like there's a lot of stuff that Disney and Marvel could be doing. Just put your efforts into the projects that people are looking forward to.
I think that's the problem though, like because that was the common complaint I saw people had about a lot of the stuff that was going on with Disney Plus when it first started. They were like, "Well, they need more Marvel stuff, they need more Star Wars stuff," and then they got it, and now people are like,
"Yeah,
no, they should just go back to having like the pared down streaming service that has like 5 movies on it and whatever." Like it just like here's the thing, you're in an impossible situation. This is a no-win scenario, like. Because all the people I've seen that have complained about how there's too many Marvel movies to watch were the same people I saw complaining there weren't enough. Like the thing is that people want the thing when it's not real. Like it's real easy to be like, man, I sure wish that they, like another Marvel movie was coming out this year when there's only like 1 or 2. And then when it started to be 3 or 4, people complain. Like that was, fuck superhero fatigue and fuck like the movies not being good. The common complaint I have heard people act like the one legitimate criticism I've heard anybody say about the MCU is that there's too much of it to watch. But at the same time, you wanted more of it. And now you got it, and now you're the dog that caught the car. You don't know what the fuck to do with it now. And I think if we just, and that's what they're doing, they're going back to only releasing like 1 or 2 movies a year. I think that's honestly the best thing for all parties involved. You can go back to focusing on the quality over the quantity, and the people who are like, because it's the #1 rule of comedy. You leave them laughing. Like it's better for a comedian to have a 30-minute set that was just absolutely fire than to have an hour-long set that was just kind of okay.
Right.
Like it's better to just say, okay, well, we're going to release our little 1 or 2 movies a year, maybe 1, maybe 2 Disney Plus shows a year. And while there'll be people that will be bitch and moan that like they're not getting enough MCU,
right?
They're going to be okay. Because where the fuck else are they going to go? DC? Are they going to the DCU? Is that still a thing? DCEU? Are we still talking about like I know the DCU is good and dead, but I mean, are we still out here clamoring for?
We talked about it in our last.
Segue to DC. Talk about DC now.
Hold on. We talked about it in our last.
Wait, we still checking for Superman? We checking for that Superman? The Superman who's sitting in. Wait. Let me check my notes. I saved this shit. Hold on.
I think
the Superman who is sitting in the gay pose? Was that the thing I heard people complaining about the most? That's how bad the DCU is right out of the gate, is that people are more focused on how Superman puts his boots on like nobody else puts their boots on like that.
They were complaining about they felt like his costume wasn't tight enough. He wasn't built enough for his costume.
I mean, look, if I put the motherfucker on, guess what? It would be too fucking tight, but not for the right reasons.
That's a good point. Brian, what's your take, bro? You saw the picture, Brian. What'd you think?
I mean, it looked fine. Like I have no complaints on it whatsoever.
No complaints. I liked it.
It looked like Superman, and it looked like a poster. Like I'll make judgments once the movie actually comes out and I've seen it. Like I want to give it the opportunity. Overall, like Ernie said, DCU's like it is what it is, man. Like they tried so hard and so many times, and they mess up over and over and over and over and again. And then my biggest disappointment as a Flash fan, I even told you guys, I've mentioned it many times. My YouTube channel was going to be the Flash Archives, and I was just going to talk about the Flash.
Oh wow!
I obviously decided not to do that and had much more success. But so when the Flash movie was originally like, "Hey, we're bringing out the Flash," I was like, "Yes, let's do it! Like, let's go!" And then 10 years later, we get Ezra Miller as the Flash, and I was like, "All right, I'm done. Like, I'll watch what you guys have coming out, but I have absolutely no expectations that they're going to be good." Batman was a rare exception. What else came out that was good? Batman. Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah, that was kinda it.
I mean, my dad was just talking about how good Man of Steel was. I mean, I'm a big Man of Steel
Yeah,
fan.
and don't get me wrong. Henry Cavill is my Superman.
Same.
I absolutely love him as Superman. He killed it. But the it wasn't even like the actors were on point. It was the directing. Like Zack Snyder did a good job. I would have been excited to see his nightmare scenario.
Yeah. Yep.
But who knows what that would have actually looked like, how it would have been. I don't expect it to be a fantastic, but I would have liked to see the outcome of it.
Yep.
And then after that, they were like, we don't really know what to do with this, and they fumbled it. They fucked it up, and it was just the end of it.
Yeah.
Judging by his recent work, I think it's for the best. I think it's for the
horrible.
best. Yeah.
Horrible.
Sorry,
Rebel
Jared.
Moon was the biggest shit I have ever seen in my life.
It was really bad. I'm not watching part 2 either. I know it's a couple.
I watched part 2 and it was not great.
I was going to watch it. I was
had
going to
to
watch
know
it.
how
I was like,
it
I
ended.
can't do this.
And I was just like, oh man, like
Look.
the only good part about that entire show was the robot with antlers. He was the coolest and only part I liked.
Look, just watch. Okay, here. You know what? You want to watch a good movie? Just watch The Seven Samurai, the very same movie that Rebel Moon is trying. So the very same movie that Rebel Moon takes 2 films to try to replicate and is trying so hard to be. Just watch The Seven Samurai. I know it's old, but it's good.
You could watch that.
I think about that scene from Rick and Morty when they're at the crime con. He's like, "You son of a bitch, I'm in."
Yeah.
The entire first movie.
Yeah.
The entire first movie.
Every character.
Yeah.
Also,
every character goes up to is like, "Yeah, we're doing this."
We're in it.
Right?
Yeah. Get the naked guy riding a falcon.
Yeah. It took you 2
No.
hours
The
to gather
naked
your
slave
team.
that like they bet his life on.
The slave,
That's
and then
basically the stand-in for like your indigenous character. Basically, like it's like y'all are being a little obvious.
It was bad. Then you had the dude. He was chilling in the alleyway of the Coliseum. He was like, "Yo, you're a general. I am a general," and he's with them.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna tell you something. You'll never be, if you ever go back and watch Rebel Moon, you'll never be able to unsee this. Okay,
I'll never go back and watch it.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. But here's the thing about Rebel Moon, and I tell people this all the time. This is how you know Zack Snyder is an actual terrible writer. And I say this because the movie is overrun with dialogue like this.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Man, I don't want to make her angry. Like or something to the effect of, oh man, I don't want to be on their bad side. Like it's the shit that people say when they play D&D, and I know this, I play D&D. It's the shit that people say in character when they're sitting at a table rolling dice with their friends. That you think sounds cool in the situation that you're in, but honestly, I want to welcome you to this is a new segment we're going to add to this show, and it's called Nobody Fucking Talks Like That.
Yo,
welcome to the inaugural segment of Nobody Fucking Talks Like That.
I think we're going to have to add it in, Gwen.
Oh, let's talk about Madam Web then, since we're on the topic.
yo, hold on. Yo, Austin.
Who's in the safari with spiders? What she got killed? What'd you say?
Austin. When you go on Netflix, right? When you go on Netflix and you watch like the snippet before you click Madam Web, and you see her walking out like, get out of the train, and you see the chick. She's like, my mom told me not to talk to strangers, and then she pulls her off the train. I was like, yo, what sense that?
Okay,
it's a bad movie that actually gets worse.
Yeah, here's the thing though.
Oh,
they knew what that movie was supposed to be.
Yes,
they used Sydney Sweeney's chest. They used the promise of Sydney Sweeney's chest to market that movie. And let me tell you something. Never been the hugest fan of Sydney Sweeney, like as an actress. I think she's like just okay. But if there's a movie that convinced me that she has the capacity to be a terrible actress, it was that movie. Madam Web, I was like, man, you know what?
That was bad. It was a weird use of talent.
Maybe she is bad.
Relative
I was
talent.
like, maybe Euphoria is a fluke. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I kind of thought that she just acted that way in Handmaid's Tale because, I mean, she was supposed to be some weird, like, zooted out fucking zealot. I don't.
Right.
Now I'm just kind of like, nah, that's just her. Like, she she's bad. She has one mode, and it's
It's
Madam
bad
Web.
mode.
I don't know, man. Madam Web didn't do him justice. It didn't really do any of them justice. I'm not a big Dakota Johnson fan, but I've also seen her in other movies where she's not as trash as Madam Web.
How did you
But then
feel
again,
about
she
the?
kind of acts like that in every movie.
How did you feel about the the game is on scene at the end of the movie? That was basically the thing. It was a hallmark of all the 2000 like early aughts era superhero movies where you get to the end of the movie and the person's like, I am so and so. I am the last thing.
And she has a flashback, and all of them have their powers.
The blah blah blah. I am the title of the movie.
Well, my favorite part was when she was fighting whatever his name was, Ezekiel, right? I don't even want to call him Ezekiel.
You mean the guy with the bad ADR is what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, she was fighting him, but all the girls were kind of like scattered all over the Coca-Cola factory, which was also Pepsi-Cola factory, which was also a fireworks manufacturer. But anyways, they were all scattered, and then she taps into her power, her web, and she like ghosts herself to go pick them all up. And that's when the movie got worse.
It's dumb. It's dumb on its face because like they literally showed you all those scenes of them in costume, like fighting.
Right.
And it literally never happens.
Never happened. Yeah. And it looked bad even when you saw it.
All. Oh no, it was terrible. It was look. Let's just be honest with ourselves here.
Ezekiel Sims. No.
Dude, no. You got to say it right.
Oh,
my name is Ezekiel Sims. Motherfucker was talking like a goddamn kung fu movie character from the 60s.
So bad, man.
Because the ADR, because I'm not gonna lie, it took me out of the movie because I'd actually paid money to see this shit. I sat in the theater the whole time as I'm taking notes on my little phone as I'm trying to the things I want to talk about with this movie. The whole time I was like, are they ADR-ing this motherfucker's lines in? Because I was like, I'm watching his lips, and I'm a damn good lip reader.
It was pretty bad.
I was like, that motherfucker is not saying those words at the time his lips are moving. I was like, maybe the tracking is off. Maybe somebody fucked up in the booth. But I was like, no, the shit's fucking idiot proof now. So there's no way that's the problem. And then I actually went back and looked it up. And yes, that motherfucker shit, all of his lines were dubbed in. So what you're hearing is not him on set talking. Every single line, when you're looking at his face or whether you're looking at the back of that motherfucker's head, it is him dubbing the shit in. This is goddamn anime dub.
Wow.
It's goddamn anime dub.
Didn't know that.
But why?
I didn't look that deep into the movie.
It was.
But why?
It's the. I don't want to make it sound like I'm a filmmaker, but it's like the film snob in me that can like key in on that shit. And when I saw it, I was like, I don't know. You know what it is? It's because he has a little bit of an accent. Actually, has a lot of an accent, but I guess for whatever reason they wanted him to go back and dub the lines in like a more American sounding accent. But I was like, dude, just let that motherfucker talk.
Wow.
I was like, just let that motherfucker talk, dude. Just put subtitles on whenever he speaks, because I was like, I would rather y'all have done that than play like fucking dub him in like he's fucking Goku or some shit on the fucking Toonami dub.
So there's no hope. There's no hope for film. Oh, that's great. But you know what? Thinking about it, we got 1 year down. We got 1 year ahead. So what do you guys think comic book wise? Let's go around room. Actually, you guys. I want to hear Brian. I want to hear Ernie and Galen go at it. Oh, Sean, obviously. Comics within the next year. What are we looking forward to? Let's put some people on.
Can I go my pipe bomb real quick?
Oh, pipe bomb us up, man. You know what? Yeah, I want to hear this.
So, all right. So I was thinking about this last couple of days, knowing that all right, so two things. So Saturday, I'm working on the yard. I'm listening to Brian. I'm listening to your latest stuff on Wolverine. Couldn't agree more as far as, if honestly, if you don't know, for example, I would say that these last, was it
10
how many
issues.
years has it been? How many 10 issues? How many years?
Sabretooth War?
Sabretooth.
It's 10 issues.
So 10 issues, but how many years has it been since Krakoa? Has it been 5 years as far as
it's been since 2019?
Yeah. Okay. So
End of 2019.
End of 2019. Yeah, because I remember. All right, so end of 2019. So I was so excited for as far as what this Krakoa X-Men era has been doing, because me being a mark for X-Men, when X-Men is good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's really bad. And so it's just been so consistently good for me these last couple years. So then shoot, it's been ending, I don't know, I'll say 6 months. I'll just throw a number out there.
That's
And
about right.
yeah, so what they did, I felt they really, and I'm sure the writers or editors said, okay, we got to wrap this up because we got solicitations coming.
That's precisely what happened.
Okay, so
I have it on good authority. That's exactly what happened.
so I when I read Fall, so basically what happened, there's all these different story arcs, Austin and Sean, that pretty much converged into almost like different comics, from Wolverine to X-Force to X-Men, and then they come out of nowhere with X-Men Forever, and then they come out of nowhere. They realize they got to wrap all these stories up real quick for summertime.
Dead X-Men was also another one.
Yes, Dead X-Men, and I'm forgetting more than I'm remembering. All right, so then for me, you said it, Ernie. Brian, me and you've been talking about it on text messaging, how they're kind of rushing this. Comic Explained, Rob Jefferson said the same thing. Hey, I'm noticing what's going on here. They're trying to wrap this up real quick. All right, so everyone said the same thing. So I'm mad at that. And then on the other side of the coin, X-Men 97 is. I was debating to myself, is that the best show I've ever seen cartoon wise compared to Young Justice? And I'm like, you know what? I didn't like Young Justice season 4. So yeah, I think that's the best. They stuck the landing.
Wow, yeah.
It's the best animated show I've seen, period. So and then and man, I again told you it's a pipe bomb. Going back to the X-Men side of things, I loved how they're writing Mr. Sinister. I felt Beast was the best, for me, the best villain in X-Men, period. That slow heel turn. And then they abruptly just whacked him for me. I don't know. That sort of hurt me.
Yeah.
And then Sabretooth 4. And then my man got chopped, literally got chopped off and everything.
I mean, that was a receipt, though. That was a receipt.
That was a receipt. Yeah.
If Wolverine did anything less to him, then the narrative would be Wolverine don't give a fuck about Akihiro.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, it's true.
He cut your boy up.
Yeah, he killed your son in the first issue. So I mean, answering your question, Austin, I'm nervous about where it's gonna go with X-Men, because they unveiled the new teams. They got Wolverine's getting another solo series, and he's done with the X-Men. I'm excited for Storm is going to be joining the Avengers. I think that's really cool.
And she's got her own book.
Yeah, she's got her own book. I think Storm is probably the MVP of every. I think the two MVPs out of the whole series last couple of years were Storm and Mr. Sinister.
I cannot talk about why, but yes, Storm will be lit.
Okay, and also Magneto. I think he got some good flowers too out of it. But I am optimistically nervous about going forward. As far as the writing and as far as, I mean, I shouldn't say the writing, as far as where it's going to go, only because it's been so good. Maybe I'm just being too negative and too pessimistic. At least about X-Men and everything. There's other, and I'll get to other comics I'm sort of about in a minute. I don't want to take up too much air, but anyway.
You're ahead.
Yeah.
I think
Hey, Brian.
Me and Ernie are going to actually be talking about this on Wednesday after issue number 35 comes out.
Yes,
our Uncanny X-Men 700.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to seeing how it fully closes out. That issue is going to bring an end completely to the Krakoan era.
Yeah.
For from the Ashes comes next. And like I've said on the channel many times, like they definitely rushed a lot of these stories to get them to a close. Sabretooth War shouldn't have happened when it happened. It should have happened way earlier on, but they were trying to close out other stories. And then they were like, oh yeah, we forgot about the Sabretooth War. Let's throw that in there. And then they did 10 issues just to get to issue number 50 when they didn't. They could have done that in 5 issues easily. They made it way too long.
5 was enough.
Yeah. Well, and for you guys that don't know, he pretty much, Wolverine got a full adamantium suit after Sabretooth took his powers away. They went back and forth. Sabretooth chopped up his son, wrote happy birthday with his body in the snow. It got super brutal. The suit gave him his powers back. The suit broke away. He chopped up Sabretooth into little pieces, and that was the end of it. They made that 10 issues long, and it was just absolutely ridiculous. I saw some of the variant covers were going for like $40 too. Just outrageous. It was a money grab.
What? Really?
It was a money grab for them because Wolverine versus Sabretooth, people love it. They extended it as far as they could. But moving forward, I think most of the things I've said are going to hold true. We'll see how it goes. Like Arakko is still existing on Mars, from what I understand. New Krakoa exists in the White Hot Room, the birthplace or the residence of the Phoenix, if you will. And we got 250,000 plus mutants that are living in New Krakoa. And I'm sure eventually we're going to get some stories following them, following their better Krakoan age, if you will. I think that's really what it's going to amount to is, the Quiet Council screwed everything up. Once we took away the power hungry and the greedy, we were able to have our utopia. And so Charles Xavier, Magneto, all of them are not going to be part of that nation moving forward. They say Resurrection's off the table. I think that's going to be the case with Hope Summers being gone. Though we do have a mutant that can replicate her powers with Sync, but him replicating powers and to that extent would age him drastically. So more than likely Resurrection is going to be off the table, if not limited to a very specific few people.
Only if he was doing it from memory.
Yeah, and Hope Summers is dead, so it would only be from memory.
Hope is
well, I mean, he could replicate the rest of the 5. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to.
He just has to make the circuit. That's right.
Yeah, he just has to complete the circuit for him.
So there's a potential that Resurrection is still on the table. But I think for the foreseeable future, it's not going to be on the table. They're just going to go. They're like, we're going to break it down. We're getting away from Krakoa. Essentially, we'll break off into these small groups, and then maybe later on we can talk about, Laktuka up in the stars with Eden. We can talk about, what's going on Arakko. Did they form their new council? What's existing with them? Is there any of them left? So on and so forth. But they wanted to get away from the Krakoan era, and I think this is the best possible way for them to do it, while also making fans happy that the Phoenix is finally back where it belongs with Jean Grey.
Yeah. I could definitely say that for me, I've been pretty vocal. I don't hide my thoughts on any of this stuff, but I'm excited because I've seen the writing on the wall for quite some time. And while I think Ten of Swords kind of showed us the first cracks
it did.
In the Krakoan age. I feel like Fall of X was where I started to see everything go a little threadbare. And I like to make sure it's very clear. I don't think that it's not so much that I think any of the books were bad. I just feel there was a lot of bloat. And to Brian's point earlier about Sabretooth War, like books being 5 issues longer than they should have been. And then in some cases, books being advertised as, being tie-ins to, Fall of the House of X, Rise of the Powers of 10, when, ultimately, X-Men Forever, I can make a case for that. But like a lot of the other books, Dead X-Men, kind of. Sort of. Not to mention, I
didn't need it.
I just didn't. I like the team. I just didn't like the way the book ended. Like, to me, where the book, I think it ends at issue 4, and it's like, find out what happens next time, kiddies, when you pick up Rise of the Powers of 10, number 4. I was like, okay, fuck y'all. I was like, all right, fuck you. Fuck you, and you, and you, all of y'all. I don't, look, every last single one of y'all. Y'all can all go kiss my ass at this point. But no, I'm excited for the new era because I like pretty much everybody that's on deck. While I have my issues right now with Jed MacKay, I've been very vocal about his blood hunt.
Don't get me started.
I got some problems.
Don't let me go, man.
I'm only covering the main issues of that one.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'll say it's about blood hunt, and I'm gonna move on. Blood hunt ain't even the real story. It's not even the real story. Go read Black Panther or Dracula or Midnight Suns is doing a better job of telling the story of Blood Hunt than Blood Hunt itself is. Because Blood Hunt #2 just let me know this isn't serious. This is not serious. Yeah. I can tell you right now the characters y'all are intentionally leaving out so the shit doesn't get wrapped up too quick. But no, for all my issues with Jed MacKay right now, I love him as a writer. I'm very excited. And also, Ryan Stegman's a friend of the channel. Love Ryan Stegman. So I can't wait to see what they do with the adjectiveless X-Men. I'm a huge Eve Ewing fan. And the fact that, Eve is going to be writing exceptional X-Men and will be, and this is actually something that's kind of wild to me. Not only will she be the first Black woman to write a core X-Men title, she'll be the first Black person, period, to write a core X-Men title. Because you can go back and look. There have been people who have written like spin-off books, like Vita Ayala. They did New Mutants. We had Victor LaValle with Sabretooth and the Exiles. But the closest we have gotten to someone writing a Black person writing a core issue of X-Men was Giant Size X-Men Thunderbird, and that's only because AEW women's wrestler Nyla Rose, who is half Black, co-wrote the issue. That's the only reason why. That shit has been as white as the fields of marshmallows when it comes to X-Men writers. So yeah, excited for that. And you know what? And speaking of, speaking of my some of my favorite white writers, Gail Simone.
I love Uncanny. I loved her back in the day when she wrote Batgirl. I loved her Batgirl run years ago.
Let me tell you something. We don't play in this household. We don't play in this household when it comes to Gail Simone. I will not accept any Gail Simone slander on my watch. I will fight for this woman. But that said, I'm excited for this. And you know what? Jeffrey Thorne's going to be writing X-Force. We got Stephanie Phillips is going to be writing a Phoenix that almost kind of just in Solicits alone feels like a love letter to the Dan Slott, Mike Allred Silver Surfer. We've got an X Factor series going to be coming out that's going to kind of play with the narrative of mutants and what it means to be a part of a government-sanctioned mutant X team. We've got, there's Dazzler. It'll be a fun book. I don't think it's going to be required reading, but I think it'll be a damn fun book. And of course, we got the homie Marewa Ayadeli who's gonna be writing Storm. It's gonna be fantastic. Storm being a part of the Avengers. That is a license to print money just because of the fact that T'Challa will be there. So that means we'll probably get to see her stunt on T'Challa a few times, and I love to see that shit. I don't know about anybody else.